Who is Randy? Don't bring anyone mother into this. Your mom in the fucking stand!
You know what really will change your opinion on, I think, religion?
Being a grown-up.
Being a grown-up.
Being an adult.
Any photo from space.
Right.
You know?
Right,
when you look
like,
at a
what?
photo, I was looking at a photo from space
Yeah.
that was taken by some satellite from Saturn towards Earth, and you just see a dot and there's an arrow. It's like, this is Earth. Kind of makes you go, like, it'd be like if someone said, and then the people on that star think that a magic man comes down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Makes you go like, what? They read a Bible?
It's
a
absurd.
book said to not eat pigs?
It's absurd to think that of all the galaxies and all the solar systems and how we only know of this planet having life, that like we're somehow special.
And we made up
that,
a mythical story.
Yeah, and a man in the sky is keeping track of all of this.
Hey, what did you do down there? Did you eat a bite of a pig?
Did you suck somebody's dick?
Did you jack off?
Yeah.
You're in big trouble.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you fuck your mom?
Yeah. Did
Actually,
you
you shouldn't fuck your
eat
mom.
fish on Friday? Like all that stuff is
it's
just
nonsense.
Yeah. I don't think God even has time. Let's say that there is a God. He doesn't have time to keep track of all that.
There's a lot going on.
There's so much more happening.
Especially things like if you do something, let's say, self-indulgent, it's kind of selfish and greedy. Maybe it's something mundane like eating pig.
Right.
But then there's also fires and mudslides.
Pedophilia.
Yeah.
Right now.
Genocide. Yeah. He's like, whoa. Did you have sausage? Put that back down.
Right. Well, God doesn't even care about the biggies, like all the stuff you just named, the fires and the
doesn't stop them at
Holocaust,
all.
Nazis.
He's always like, I hope you guys learn.
free will. It's up to you.
You better stop being bad. That's where this happens.
I'm going to send that hurricane. All those queers.
Kill everybody. Yeah. And stop being gay. I hate it. That's one of my main things up here. That I hate gays.
Right.
I think about it all the time. I made you. I made the possibility that you're gay, but I can't stand it.
Yeah. God's a big homophobe.
Yeah, he really, really is like, stop it. Yeah, it's really cool. So ridiculous. You know?
It's just like the gays.
I know God.
It's just like the gays.
Just like
that
the
is
gays.
God. That is God's thing, right?
Here's God right here. I have a quote from God.
I have cum all over my face.
Oh my gosh.
So, what?
Holy cow.
He sent me an MP3.
He sent you that?
Yeah. So yeah, this lady here has like some pretty strong views.
Yeah.
So if you suck a dick and swallow the ejaculation, you might as well eat you 10 motherfucking pigs. If you eat pussy and swallow the fluid from the pussy, you might as well eat you 10 motherfucking pigs. Because the sperm was made to fertilize the egg, and ain't now one of them coming from the goddamn mouth.
There you go.
Yeah, it is interesting how, I mean, you're taught these rules kind of early if you're
The God
brought
rules?
up in religion. Yeah. And then there is a turning point where you go like, wait a minute. Why can't I do that? Why can't I eat pork? Or why can't I have...
Because the guy said so.
Why is this even like...
All the stories make no sense.
No sense.
And also the idea that there's a book, in its historical context, human history, it's like 100,000 years old. But 2,000 years ago, they're like, that's when the guy was here.
Yeah, guys, it's the right one.
And that's when the book was written. And then people are like, that's the book we all should live our lives based on. A book that's 2,000 years old.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, and also there's no...
So did all the people before him, were they doing things incorrectly?
Yes, obviously. Duh.
They didn't know
Why
because
don't
he
you
wasn't
believe?
here yet.
Well,
Okay.
I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, it's all fucking... It's so stupid.
Here's
That's
what I
why-
think.
yeah,
This is
yeah,
what God
yeah.
is doing all day long, every day.
Rop.
I think he's just jerking off watching TV. I think we're TV.
Do you think every time he comes, that's rain?
That's really good. Really good. No, because he's God, so his come's got to be... That's the hurricanes.
Oh, it's right.
Hurricanes, tornadoes.
See, that makes a lot more sense. It's God come when there's a hurricane.
Yeah.
Or blizzards or something.
We should run this by my mom when she's here. I think she would dig it.
Yeah. It's interesting, too, what people...
I have a couple religious jokes in my act right now.
Yeah.
Man, it's so funny. Most of the time it goes pretty well.
Yeah.
But there's been times when it's gone sideways. And it is amazing to me how seriously people take that still.
Yeah, but like I do feel like it is something to do with being really, you're really inundated with it as a child.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to undo your childish beliefs as an adult. And a lot of people don't. And you're like, wait, that isn't. Or the idea that our Bible is the right one is kind of crazy too.
Did I tell you about the conversation I had with a woman on the plane?
No. I don't have those conversations
plane,
anymore.
On a plane. So I was sitting there and I don't know, it was pretty mundane stuff. And then I peeked at the cover, and it was something about Peter, the apostle. Mm-hmm. So I said something like, good book. And she was like, it's really good, actually. It's really good. And I said, oh, okay. And then I said, so are you just like studying for educational purposes? Or like, in other words, is this, are you learning something? Or is this like, you just
free time
enjoying
reading?
This? She's like, no, this one, I'm learning, but it's what I was looking forward to reading this, and I was like, oh. And then we started talking about that a little bit, and I kind of, I didn't say anything provocative to her, but then I was like, hey, she said something about, oh, yeah. She was like, yeah, it's like when people, she was like, have you accepted Christ as your Savior? Mm-hmm. And I was like,
sure.
I go, I was raised, I just said, like, I was raised. That's what I always say when someone's, I go, I was raised in a Catholic house. In other words, I'm trying to tell them, you don't worry about me, like don't try to sell me, but I'm also not trying to further I was raised Catholic. She's like, oh, that's good, or whatever she said, but then she's like, yeah, and it's kind of my mission to like, try to save people before. And I go, well, what do you think happens? I go, if they don't. She goes, then they go to hell. Uh-oh. And I go, so do you really think that people go to hell if they don't accept Christ? And she goes, yeah. And I said, what about because there's a lot of people, billions of people that are another religion, like back to what you were saying.
Sure.
And, Muslims, Jews.
Buddhists,
I go, do you think
Hindus.
they go to hell? And she goes, it was a really hard conclusion for me to come to. But yeah. I go, so all Muslims go to hell? And she was like, yeah. And I go, and all Jews? She was like, yep. And I go, all right. I go, have a great trip.
Hope you have a blessed day.
Yeah, have a blessed day.
One of your earliest jokes, under his eye.
Yeah. But isn't that a crazy that this human is walking the world with us?
Well, and especially because Jesus' message is of love and acceptance, and he accepted the prostitutes, and he accepted all the people that, were marginalized in society. But except for those, Jews and the Muslims. And
I get it if religion gives you comfort. I think you should have your comfort.
For sure, yeah.
But then your message is everyone's going to hell. It's kind of crazy.
Kind of contradictory, yeah.
This lady's also a little crazy.
It's coming from your personal body parts. The sperm fertilizes the egg, which is in your ovaries. Ain't no eggs in your fucking mouth. It's nothing there but sin, lust, and goddamn pleasure. And it all falls under the same umbrella.
Umbrella.
Yeah, she said umbrella.
She added a syllable to umbrella.
Umbrella.
Umbrella. She did it the Rihanna way.
Umbrella.
Umbrella. Umbrella.
Umbrella.
Umbrella.
Umbrella.
Oh, man.
Eating dick will fuck you up.
Speaking of religion, though, it's funny because I flew home yesterday from Portland.
Yeah.
And,
how was that?
Amazed.
Pussy.
Amazed. Our audiences are by far the best.
We should keep pointing out that these are being recorded at a different pace because of the fucking movie schedule.
Excuse me.
Because of the goddamn fucking movie schedule.
Hello, you're a movie star now. You should have a little more regal of a vocabulary.
No, I'm just letting our listeners know. I'm thrilled to do the movie, and I always love doing this show. I'm just saying that's why.
You're a movie star now. You think you should really clean up
my act?
The voice, the act, the everything. So I came back from Portland, which was amazed. The audiences were amazed. You guys are fantastic for coming out. I really do appreciate
Portland might have the best fucking crowds. In the
they're
country.
just amazed, and they're so down to have fun. I had, it was great. So anyway,
you guys are doing good
in Portland for sure.
In Portland,
yeah.
And I came home. And we were texting, and you go, is it weird that I don't give a shit about Easter?
Don't give a motherfucking shit about Easter.
And it's Sunday as I'm flying home on Easter Sunday. And I go, neither do I. I could give fucking zero fucks.
Yeah.
But I honestly think it's twofold for me why I don't like Easter. One, because of the Stations of the Cross, because in Catholic school, it was like they didn't focus on the Easter bunny or on the fun or the chocolate. Catholic school is like, and then the suffering Christ.
For people that listen or watch this show, we all have different backgrounds and upbringings, but the kids that grew up in Catholic homes know that, Catholics, if you had real Catholic parents, they had a nice way of ruining childlike fun. Yeah.
The fun of it. It should just be Easter baskets and chocolate.
Yeah, they would ruin
eggs.
Christmas with Christ's suffering and
suffering.
You're like, presents? They're like, it's not about presents. And you're like, all right. And then
right, it's not about the fun.
You're like, everyone else is talking about presents. Yeah, well, they're stupid and they're going to hell. And then Easter is like bunny chocolate. And they're like, well, the real part about Easter is God rose after he was murdered. And you're like, oh, I'm 4. So, yeah.
But they really dragged it out when I went to an all-girls Catholic school.
But you realize that's
school.
why we fucking go like, oh, Jesus.
Because they suck the fun. They suck the joy.
It for you. Yeah.
And we had to walk. I remember our campus was beautiful, and they actually did the real Stations of the Cross, and we had to walk around with a nun, Sister Anne or whoever, and then she's like, and this is when Jesus fell again. And Jesus falls like 100 times.
Over and over, and they beat him and whipped him, and people pointed and laughed, and he had a crown of thorns in his head.
The crown of thorns.
I remember being a kid and them showing us that on an Easter too.
Of course.
But I mean, like, not in school. I mean, being a young kid, maybe 5 or 6, and you're like, have your basket with your Chucky treats.
Yeah.
And then they're like, there's an image of, and you're like, what happened? They're like, that's Jesus. He rose from the dead today.
Oh, is that nice,
while you're
man?
eating your fucking chocolate. And you're like, why did they do that?
And then I remember I had this teacher who had to teach us exactly how the nails got put in. Did you know that they did not, by the way, it's inaccurate historically, that they put the nails through Jesus's palms.
It's through the wrists, right?
Right,
Yeah.
because that would slide off the cross. If you nailed somebody's palms, it would just tear through it and the person would fall. So they crucified you by nailing it through your wrists.
I bet it was cool for them to discover that. I bet back in the
Romans?
times, they were like, oh, the nail, the weight of his body just slid through his hands.
Yes.
And he still died, but kind of fucked up the decoration we were going for.
So what we've done is innovated this whole thing.
We nail through the wrists, and then we nail through both feet. And they bleed out that way. Works well.
Yeah.